We need to have an important conversation about dementia and hearing loss. These are two health challenges that often intersect. Whether you're listening as a caregiver, a family member, or someone who's simply interested in this topic, I invite you to take a moment to reflect on how vital communication is to our daily lives and how fragile that connection can become as we age. I want to begin by looking at what we know. Dementia is a very broad term that's used to describe a range of conditions that cause changes in the brain, leading to problems with memory, thinking, behavior, even the ability to perform everyday activities. Alzheimer's is the most common form, but there's many others. And dementia affects millions of people worldwide. And with an aging population, those numbers just continue to grow. At the same time, hearing loss is also incredibly common as we age. In fact, age-related hearing loss, which is called presbycusis, affects approximately 1 in 3 people over the age of 65. It often comes on very gradually, and because of the slow progression, it can sometimes go unnoticed for years. And it's usually someone like a companion, maybe a spouse, that notices the hearing loss first, and they kind of nudge you with their elbow and say, hey, there may be an issue going on. But let's get back to dementia and hearing loss. What's less well known is the connection between these two conditions. Research over the past decade has revealed that there's a strong link between hearing loss and the risk of developing dementia. Several studies suggest that even a mild hearing loss can double your risk of cognitive decline. With more severe hearing loss, that risk increases significantly. But why is this the case? Scientists believe that there's multiple factors at play. One theory is that when we struggle to hear, our brains have to work harder to decode that sound and the speech. It's an extra load on the brain that can take important resources away from other brain functions like memory and thinking. So over time, that strain may contribute to cognitive decline. Another important factor or possibility is social isolation. Hearing loss often leads to people who withdraw from conversations. They withdraw from social activities. They even withdraw from family gatherings. They'll just rather stay home than try to deal with it. This isolation in itself is a known risk factor for dementia. Staying socially engaged is essential for keeping our minds active and healthy. It's important to note that hearing loss doesn't cause dementia directly. It's considered a modifiable risk factor. It is something that we can address to potentially reduce the likelihood of cognitive decline. That's really encouraging news. So what can we do? First, regular hearing checks should become a routine part of aging, just like monitoring blood pressure or vision. Remember this phrase, ears and rears. When it's time for your colonoscopy, it's also time to start annual hearing testing. Ears and rears. If hearing loss is detected, addressing it early through hearing aids or other assisted devices can make such a meaningful difference. For those who are already living with dementia, unrecognized hearing loss can complicate communication even further. A person may seem confused, unresponsive, or even agitated, when in fact they simply can't hear what's being said. By improving hearing, we can often help improve understanding, reduce frustration, and enhance the quality of life. Communication strategies are very essential. It's very important that the person speaking to someone with cognitive decline, as that person, I need to speak slowly, in a low tone, and enunciate clearly. I'll also want to make sure I'm facing that person directly. I don't want to start a conversation and then turn around and walk away. don't do it. Another tip is to reduce any background noise like a TV or a radio. Any of those unnecessary sounds are greatly going to increase that listener's ability to hear and understand you. These very small adjustments can make a big impact, whether it's someone dealing with dementia, hearing loss, or both. At the heart of this conversation is empathy. Living with either condition is challenging. Living with both can be profoundly isolating. As caregivers, family members, and professionals, our role is to recognize these challenges and to advocate for early intervention, to foster environments where connection is still possible, even if words and memories sometimes falter. I want to thank you for taking this time with me today. These conversations matter because they remind us that behind every diagnosis is a person. There's someone who still wants to be heard, still wants to be understood, and still wants to be included. Let's do that together. For more information, go to hearingcarepartners.com, where we listen so you can hear.